Well, spring color is going to come from flowers, but in a yard like mine, there's typically two different sources of spring color. Flowers from perennial plants like that beautiful flannel tree behind me, and color from wildflowers that come up each year, flower, and then wither away. So again, this is a perennial plant, a flannel tree. It has this beautiful splashes, these brilliant yellow flowers, and when it blossoms, I just love it. I love this combination right here, California poppy and an arroyo lupin. Poppy is the orange flower, it's the California state flower, and this blue violet flower is a arroyo lupin. You can see that it's already starting to go to seed. But this little arrangement are wildflowers, so they're annual plants that grow from seed each year, reseed themselves, and then grow again after the winter rains. Now here's another ceanothus in my yard. This one tends to bloom a little bit later than that tree-like ceanothus, again sometimes called a California lilac. You see they have these beautiful kind of powder blue blossoms. It's past its prime, but it's still hanging on to some blossom here in mid-April. Bees love it, so if you're concerned about the disappearance of native bees, this is an excellent plant for your yard. And then take a look at this little splash of color on the other side of my garden. This is called a desert marigold. You can see a really pretty blossom, particularly hardy. And for those that live in the hotter regions of Southern California, this plant will do well and bloom well into the summer. A great plant for a sunny yard. There's a lot to behold in my little yard. Again, next to me is that beautiful flannel tree in bloom with these kind of luscious yellow flowers. Behind me, this is called a bush mallow. Mallows are typically a desert plant, but they have these wonderful kind of apricot-colored blossoms. It can bloom spring into the summer, and that's nice in a native garden because the summer months are kind of tricky. And then in the foreground here, I have something called a sticky monkey flower. Look at those pretty flowers. They're kind of delicate looking, but the plant is very hardy and can thrive in a lot of sun. As I've mentioned, I'm a native plant gardener, and my yard is primarily California native plants, but not exclusively. So here I want to point out a beautiful ceanothus or California lilac. Now it's already past its bloom. It blooms early in my yard, typically late February and early March. This plant here, and I have to confess I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's possibly in the aloe or echeveria family. It has this beautiful blossom stalk. I use them in my yard primarily because they're drought resistant and they're free. I just transplanted them from a garden elsewhere, put them in the ground, and lo and behold, they grow. They're very hardy and need very little water. And they look good. This is the parkway strip. It's the area of land between the sidewalk and the street just in front of my house. It's always been a challenging area to landscape, but look at the spring bloom here. In the foreground I have some calendulas, some buckwheat, and look at this beautiful penstemon in bloom. It's really a sight to behold. Again, this is a plant that will give its all this year, but the penstemon is really a perennial plant in my yard. After the bloom withers away, I cut it back to a nub and it will blossom from the same plant again the following year.